Thanks, Kevin. Hi, folks. It's President Dave right there. Hello. Thank you. I'm Dave. I just want to sort of gauge you folks this morning. I want to see how many of you are like fresh as a daisy. You've just done yoga. You've had like a spinach and kale smoothie. You're ready to go. You're like a Californian. Or that you're broken. Shh. So look at those two extremes, and I want you to imagine whereabouts you are on that line. And then, when I point to that place on this monitor over here, you raise your hand. Do you understand? So when I point to the place that you are, you raise your hand. I'm just trying to gauge how you all are this morning. So here we go. So, okay, honest people? Okay, thank you. That's good. Okay, here we go. And we go. Oh, I'm going. Oh, come on. Okay. Come on. Oh, come on. I hate you people. Right. Okay. So, I've dealt with the world with creativity. I was an advertising creative director for many years for some of the top agencies in London, and I've embraced AI. I think that it's an incredible opportunity because as well as being somebody who's worked in the creative industries for 3 decades now, because I'm old, I'm also somebody, I've got a degree in computer programming, and I just have embraced technology as soon as new things have come out. So this is something I've been hearing from the creative industries a lot. You know, it's just, you know, it's just not as good. It's just like real creativity. You know, it just doesn't get it. It doesn't have a soul. You know, these are the people who think that they've got a special gift. They think there's something, these creative people, there's something amazing about me that makes me different. Because Mummy told me I was special. And they are then just really worried about this. So when they're doing this, there's 2 things. One is they're just whinging because they're feeling insecure. And the other is that they've not actually tried the AI properly. When you put in a crappy prompt, you get crappy results. And that's exactly what happens, and they judge it by that. When they say, write me a TV script for a fast car, and it will do something and look at it and go, no wonder it was you didn't give it any information. So they're just not understanding prompts, and they're judging it in the wrong way. What they're actually doing is they're measuring what a bad brief is, rather than what happens when you use this technology compared to a human. Right, I want you folks to get involved. Get your smartphones out. I want you to get this app up on your phone, this little web app. Don't worry, you don't have to download anything, none of that crap. So I shall get it up here on my phone as well. So you'll be able to see, hopefully, that this app is quite simple. It just does 2 things. You've got a green hand, you've got a red hand. Have you all got that? Give me the green hand if you've all got that. There we go. No one was a comedian enough to give me a red hand, which would have been, get irony in there. Okay, so we are going to play a game. We're going to play, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play Was That a Bot? It's quite simple in this game. What we're going to do is we're going to look at some images, and you're going to tell me, was it created by AI? If you think it was created by AI, you give me a green thumbs up. If you think it was created by a human, you give me a red thumbs down. Okay, was it created by a bot? Okay, here we go. This. Give me the green thumbs up if it's AI. Give me red thumbs down if it's human. Okay, we got a 50-50. Oh, mainly red. Okay, so we think that it was human. You're correct. Well done. Okay, next one here. Was this created by AI or was this created by a human? Green for AI, red for human. Green AI. I know. Isn't it amazing though? You're all right. But isn't it amazing? Right, okay. What about this one here? Right, green thumbs up if it was AI, red if you think it was a human. I mean, look at the detail in this. Look at it. It's about 50-50. Actually, slightly more. You think it's human. Actually, AI. Incredible. Incredible. Right, this here. Human. So red for human, green for AI. Green for AI. So we're thinking it's human. It's human? No, it's AI. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you're not doing well here. Oh, how about this one? Look at the detail in the face. Green for AI, red for human. Red, it's human. Yes, well done. Okay, this one here. AI, green for AI, red for human. Got mainly green for AI. It was human. Okay, right, okay, what about this one? Look at the detail in the waves. Look at the reflections. Green for AI, red for human. Okay, it's mainly AI. Yes, you're correct. What about this one? Look at this orangutan just chilling out in a forest. Green, we're thinking it's AI. Wow, you're getting the game here. This is good. Okay, what about this beautiful picture of an eye? Green for AI, red for human. We're thinking, oh, it's kind of like 50-50. Human! Okay, look at the detail in this. Look at this. This is the head of a praying mantis. Green for AI, red for human. It was mainly AI. You're right. How on earth can it get that kind of detail in it? It's absolutely phenomenal. Okay, this one here. Green, AI, red. I know this is all we're doing for the next hour. I hope you're okay with this. Okay, last one here. Green for AI, red for human. Where are we? We're saying AI. You're correct, AI. Well done. Thank you for playing. Now, you see, this isn't the first time. This moment in history that we're in right now, it's not the first time that technology has put a foot up the backside of humans. And I want to take you on a bit of a trip. In October, I did a talk at the previous Chile conference where I talked about the beginning of photographic, the impact of photography approach to painting, which actually happened in the 1300s. So around about 1320, what happened was there was a guild in Bruges that was the guild of, listen to this, painters and mirror makers. That was the same guild. You were looking at a picture in a frame, I guess, so you thought, yeah, whatever, it's the same thing. So the Guild of Mirror Makers and Painters. Now, the incredible thing was the beginning of the 1300s is that the mirror makers started to develop convex and concave mirrors. And there was a trick you could do with a mirror, a concave mirror, that would actually reflect an image onto canvas and you could trace it. And at that point, it completely changed art. I mean, let's have a look at it. So here you go. This is 1290. This is before any of this stuff. Look at this. This was considered to be a painting. Look at it. So we've got the Madonna and child. I mean, the painter had never actually seen a real baby before. They didn't realize that these things have got heads the size of a watermelon. And instead, it's like, let's just draw a miniature man. And you've got this miniature man. It's this child. It's really annoying. It's pulling at the mother's cloth. And just look. That is the look of a very, very tired parent. Right there. Look, and she's pulling at her cloth, and she's going, Jesus! That was his name. Would you stop doing that? And you compare this to this, just under 200 years later. Look at that. All right. That to that. That's quite a leap, isn't it? I mean, the painter here at least knew how to paint a baby. The problem was, he painted an Irish baby. I mean, look at that thing. So at least we're getting something that's photographic. Look at the reflections and the sheen of the cloth. Look at everything. I mean, they didn't even pull the backdrop all the way. He painted the picture too early. He hadn't actually sorted out the backdrop. It's still hanging on a bit of string there. So then we get the absolute master of this. So this is Rembrandt, a self-portrait. So we're going through history now as we're looking at this. There were a couple of researchers about 5 years ago did some studies. They analyzed Rembrandt's work, and they discovered that he had definitely used concave mirrors to produce his work because of the photographic anomalies that you get from doing that. You get certain warpings within that when you use a mirror. And they've discovered all of that he would use a series of mirrors to do his portraits. So, of course, did he talk about that? No, because people thought that was cheating. You can't cheat when you're an artist. And this is one of the issues we've got now that with AI, people think, oh, it's cheating. Getting AI to write something is cheating. That's not real organic copy that we've got then. You know, that's cheating copy. Right, and so you can see we go through history here. This, of course, is Vermeer, the guy famous for the pearl earring painting. They didn't do a film about this painting. This painting wasn't as interesting, the Milkmaid. This here is the Haarlem Painters Guild. So it's not Haarlem in New York. This is Haarlem in the Netherlands. So the Painters Guild, they all got together and they did this. This is actually painted by Jan de Bray, who is the guy who's got a picture up against someone's back and he's drawing. So that's Jan de Bray did that, and you can see there's a guy in the far left who was just coming in too late. Have you started already? Look, he's coming in on the far left there. So this is them. I mean, it's a very candid kind of shot. Then we've got this kind of stuff. As you can see, it's like a photo. And then it keeps going. It's getting increasingly realistic, increasingly photographic. This is a famous picture called The Gleaners by Jean-Francois Millet. And I remember my aunt and uncle used to have this up on their wall, a print of this on their wall. Then this one here, what I'm really interested about in the photographic technique we've got here, 1859, as you can see. This is also as Jean-Francois Millet. You know that thing that happens when people are on a Zoom call and they sit in front of a window and suddenly they're in silhouette? He captured that right there. I think that's absolutely incredible that it was this thing where he's got the brightness of the background and then they're kind of like in silhouette. And then this is, Whistler's mother, yes. So this is artist James McNeill Whistler. And true story this, the model didn't turn up. He was supposed to be painting a model in this day, and the model didn't turn up. So he asked his mother if she'd be able to stand in, because he'd all his paints ready and everything. It's just, oh, I'm bored, I need something to do today. Mum, could you just stand there? And she said no. She said, I'm old and I can't stand up in that pose you're wanting. I'm going to sit down. And this was it. This is what he painted. He just made the most of it. His mother just refused to stand up. So she sat down and ended up becoming a really famous painting, all because everything was totally out of his control. Now, we're going to have to, we've reached 1871, and you can see things are very photographic in their look. Realism is a big movement in art. So let's go back a few years. There we go, we're back 50 years. Now, 1826, this is when photography really started. This image here, as you can see, is beautiful detail, is from Joseph Niepce. And he was a French guy who was experimenting with chemicals, being able to create photographs. Come in, come in, come in. And this is the oldest surviving photograph in the world. And the amazing thing is, when I was doing my research here, it's in this city. This is in the University of Texas in Austin, their permanent collection. So if you want, you could probably go and see it today, because, I mean, it is beautiful, isn't it? So this is the earliest, the oldest surviving photograph. Then we get to 1837, we get a different type of photography. We get this daguerreotype, and this is the oldest known daguerreotype photograph. This here is the oldest photograph we have of a human. And you look at that and you go, well, what do you mean? Well, these streets were really busy. The exposure time on this was about 10 minutes. So nobody was standing still enough for 10 minutes except for this guy getting his shoes shined. Absolutely serious. This is the first human captured by a camera. So that's him. You've got the shoe shine boy, and you've got the guy getting his shoes shined because he stood there for most of the 10 minutes that the exposure was happening. This here is the oldest selfie that we've got, 1839. As you can see, he didn't really bother smiling or anything like that. He wasn't that kind of guy. 1843, does anyone know who this is? John Quincy Adams, well done. So this is the oldest photograph of a president, or the first photograph of an American president. This is the first color photograph. I mean, you didn't think you were coming to a history lesson, did you? But I promise you, this will pay off. So this is the oldest color photograph, 1861. And as you can see, this kind of stuff, it's getting better. From that earliest photograph that you could barely make anything out on, to now we're getting some kind of clarity. And round about this time, artists had something to say about this. So like this: as long as invention and feeling constitute essential qualities in a work of art, photography can never assume a higher rank than engraving. Isn't that a whinge? You know, it's a photography. It's just not as good as a real painting. And this is what they went for. This was the approach. And it's the approach that we're hearing right now from people in creative industries. Exactly the same thing. Photography couldn't qualify as an art in its own right because it lacked something beyond mere mechanism at the bottom of it. That's the nonsense that I'm hearing about anything written by AI. You can tell it just doesn't have soul. F off. Nonsense. Right. So I want to tell you what happened, because art and creativity doesn't get killed by technology. It gets inspired by it. So when all these people at the beginning were saying, yeah, art, it's just art, painting is what it's all about. Cameras, photography, oh, it's just not good. Well, when photography became really good, artists then went in a different direction because they'd been going in the direction of photorealism in art. And when photos were better at photorealism than humans, humans had to do something else. So 1905, we get an art movement called Fauvism. 1905, again, we get Expressionism. Then we move to 1907, we get Cubism. You can see what's happening is that artists are using a non-photographic approach. Photography has inspired them to go in really interesting different directions. It's amazing. This would not have happened without photography. 1909, we get modernism. We get Dadaism. There you go. In 1915, surrealism. 1924. This stuff is pushing away from the realism of photography. So I believe that AI is in fact going to spark more creativity. It's not going to kill creativity. It's going to inspire us to go in new directions. And that really excites me. Of course, people have been doing some stuff that gets debate. And I love when the debate happens. So last year, you may have seen this image, which picked up first place in the Colorado State Fair art competition, which is actually quite a prestigious art competition. This picked up first place. It was created in Midjourney, an AI text-to-image what would you call it, a tool, I guess. This here picked up first place in the Sony photographic competition this year in April. This was created by AI. And it picked up the photography prize. And only after the prize was given did the guy say, this isn't photography. He held his hands up, said, this isn't photography. I do not deserve this prize. And it created a debate. And I love that we're getting debates like this. Because I'm trying to, in my own art, I'm trying to create debates as well. So I started almost a year ago when text-to-image generators were coming out. I was playing with them. And I decided, you know, let's see if just randomly it can create an image of me. You know, a lino cut of a bald man with glasses and stubble. I hadn't grown my beard at that point. So I just wanted to see what it would find, if I could find an image that looked like me. And I couldn't. I got these. And you know, they are brilliant. So what I thought was, actually, I do lino cuts, which is why I'd asked for lino cuts of these, because I do lino cut images. So I started to take some of these and actually do lino cuts of the AI images I was getting. So I get the image generated by one of these text-to-image generators, and then I painstakingly, as you can see, it takes a long, long time, create the lino cut, and then I print it, and it means that we go from these here, these were created by AI, and then I do these versions there, which are actual lino cut prints that I've sort of hand cut myself from the AI. And these, I've got a show coming up of these. And it just became an interesting thing to do, because what I was trying to do was swap around who does what. So, you know, for the creative concept, traditionally, it was done by humans, and the creative execution would be assisted with technology. And what I did for this was I turned it around. So it means that the creative concept is coming from the technology, and it's the human, me, who's doing the creative execution. So I'm switching it. That was the whole point of this, was to switch it around. So the question is it art? And I'm asking, get your phones out, get your green and red thing. I want to see. What do you think? Is what I've done here art, or is it a complete sham? I want to see. We've got, so is it art? Is the green for its art? Oh, okay. It's a sea of green. There we go. So apparently this is art. Well done. I am an artist then. Thank you. I'm going to add that to LinkedIn later on today. So I've continued playing with stuff. And as you might have seen, there was the image at the beginning. I want to explain how I did it. I went to Midjourney, and I put in a prompt asking for a bald president with glasses and a short gray beard in the Oval Office. And I got this image. So that was level 1 of AI. Level 2 of AI was then this, where there's a plugin that means that you can add your own face into these things. And then level 3 was putting it into another piece of AI, which meant that it brings it to life. So these 3 levels of AI gets us to something like this. But it means that I could go to a random website and pick out a random person like that, and don't know, just some random person found on the internet, and I could then sort of bring them to life, sort of make it look real, and I could maybe use this to sort of bring out their inner spirit. So and here was Jay from yesterday, and I thought that I'd sort of see if I could bring out what I thought was really inside Jay, trying to get out. I love those. Look at those flirty eyes. Oh, yeah. So I then set myself a few months ago. I set myself a challenge to try and create a film that was totally done by AI, and all I was the conduit to the whole thing, bringing stuff together. So I got ChatGPT to write a script. I got an AI-generated image. I trained an AI on my voice so that it could read out the script. And then I got AI to animate the whole thing, bring it all together. So this is an underwhelming film, totally created by AI.
Hello everyone, I am your AI host and welcome to this AI-made video. Everything you're about to see is made by none other than me and my AI friends. From the script, the voiceover to the video editing, it's all done by us. And let's not forget the charming host you see before you. Yes, I am an AI. I can also write a script that will make you laugh, cry and think all at the same time. And the AI version of Birss's voice is so real you can almost smell him. But don't worry, no humans were harmed in the making of this video, except maybe your brain cells from trying to understand how this all works. So sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Or don't, it's your brain cells.
So, thank you AI, trying to be funny, trying to be witty there. So I just thought it was really interesting that you could do this whole process totally in AI, and all I did was move that bit to there to plug it all together. I then set myself a challenge one night and thought I'd write a book. And so I got ChatGPT to come up with a bunch of titles. And it's quite important the way that you do this. You don't just say, AI, write me a book. You have to give it information. You have to do the different steps of the process. So I asked it to come up with a bunch of titles for a book that was all about the harmful effects of social media, because I hate social media. Then what chapters would be in this book, and it came up with a bunch of potential chapters. And then what are the most important points that should appear in those chapters, and then it would come up with bullet points that should be in each chapter. And then I got it to write the text for each of those bullet points. And I ended up with a 20,000-word book in an evening. I then sort of put it into a quick design and released it online, along with an audiobook version of it. And this all went up online in the space of about 3 hours. I've not read it, nor have I listened to the audiobook. But I can tell you, I mean, you can get it there if you want to read it or listen to it. Don't recommend it, but it's all yours if you want it. From that, I put it up online, and that's the amazing thing. You can get it all up there so fast, but I will tell you that it does repeat itself. So it says some really good stuff, but it does repeat itself, and there's certain things that AI can't do, that it really misses out on. So it can't tell stories from personal experience because it doesn't have the personal experience to draw on. It's missing interviews. Because at this point that I did this, ChatGPT wasn't connected to the web, it wasn't bringing in real stats and real data. And you miss all of that stuff. So it's opinion, but when I write books, I bring in all these other things. It's mainly about story and bringing stats to life. Just 5-6 days ago, Midjourney, does anyone not know what Midjourney is? Midjourney is a text-to-image engine. So you just say what you want and it creates the image. So for this here, I asked for an image of a happy robot in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. And I got this image here. And about 5-6 days ago, Midjourney brought out this thing that you could zoom out. So basically, it zooms out and it gives you another image where that's just a little bit smaller in the middle of the image. And I realized you could just keep zooming out. You could just keep zooming out. So I did this to see what it would do. And I put it together. One of the things I did last night is I put this together into a little film. I thought you might enjoy zooming out through a post-apocalyptic, after the end of the world, a wasteland with happy robots. It just keeps going. It's getting dark now. And it just plays again. So it's amazing. You take stuff and you just screw with it. Here's a new feature. Let's just take it to the absolute extreme. And it's really amazing, this feature. I'm really enjoying playing with it. So I want to talk about why AI is actually important. You know, I believe that humans have really basically got two modes. You've got doing and you've got thinking. And those modes are different. There's also slacking, but let's avoid that one just now. So we get doing and thinking, and up until now, up until last year, any industrial scale attempt to take effort away from humans has been taking doing away. You know, that's what the Luddites were fighting against with the mills, because the mills were automating this labor-intensive process of creating the cloth. And it just has gone on then. I mean, the invention of the wheel was all about doing. You know, it meant that you didn't have to carry heavy stuff as much. You had the wheel, and it meant that, I mean, the most important invention for the wheel is it meant that you no longer had to cut pizza with a knife, which was really important. It was very time-consuming. Or in these days, it was a primitive flint axe, I guess. But so you've got doing. That's what we have been focusing on for millennia. And last year is the first time that we have had an industrial level solution to replace thinking. And that is why AI is important. That is why it's really changing stuff. So I had a look. I showed this 6 months ago at the last conference. Because creativity isn't just one thing. Creativity is a whole bunch of skills. And this is why a lot of people get things wrong about creativity. They think that creativity is one thing. It's a gift, darling. It's you know, it's why Mummy said I was special. And these are all the different things that we get, all the different attributes and aspects of creativity. And I had to look to see how AI has been trying to encroach on some of this stuff. And in green, I'm highlighting all the areas where people have tried AI to do some of these tasks. Yeah, all of them. And then 6 months ago, I was like, right, and what are the ones that AI doesn't do well? And I highlighted those, and that was 6 months ago. I thought that, you know, it's not great at imagination, it's not great at judgment. In those days, it was ChatGPT 3, which actually wasn't that great to deal with. But since then, these are now highlighted in green, all the ones that computers are actually quite good at. Yeah. So the question is, will this impact every job? I would say that grave diggers are probably safe. But apart from that, pretty much, yeah. And the question I always get as well is, will people lose their jobs to AI? I mean, probably not. But, I like big buts. I cannot lie. Cannot lie. So AI is unlikely to steal your job, but the people who resist AI are likely to lose their jobs to those who are using AI. It's really, really important to embrace AI as a business and as individuals. It's really important that we don't overlook this. I'll show you some hokey charts that I've created to bring this to life. So I don't think it's about survival of the fittest. It's one of the biggest mistakes that people make about evolution is they talk about survival of the fittest. It's not. It was never about survival of the fittest. If it was about survival of the fittest, T-Rexes would still be around. It's about survival of the most adaptable. When the environment changes quickly, the creatures that are most successful at changing to the new environment they find themselves in are the ones that survive. It's why the mammals survived when there wasn't much sunlight and it got colder, because these lizards that were there before couldn't handle the cold. They weren't built for that. So here's a sort of really hokey chart for you. So if you think that companies generally, they progress slowly over time. And they change not because they want to change. Companies only change because the world around them is changing. The environment they're in, the context is changing. Otherwise, companies would just do the same thing, and they'd maybe just try and make it more efficient over time. But they have to change and adapt if they want to stay relevant in the marketplace. And that's okay if the environment around you and the context isn't moving that fast. But things have been moving faster for years, and it just feels like now, whoa, it's done that. And it means that the gap between where businesses are and where the environment that we're operating within is larger and is just increasing all the time. I can't believe how fast AI is progressing. Every single week, there are new mind-blowing announcements. So it's, for somebody who's immersing themselves in this, I can't keep up with it. And I believe that companies are becoming irrelevant faster than ever because we are getting this gap between where companies are and the context of the environment around us. And I've been working with a lot of companies to talk about how to incorporate AI. And the reason I'm involved in AI, I've kind of got this thing about AI at the moment, is I've got LinkedIn's most popular AI course. So LinkedIn Learning, I'm an instructor for them, and I did a course that came out in March, and it's been their most popular course because it's all about sort of prompt engineering, how to do this properly. I've got another 3 courses coming out next month, and then another 5 courses coming out in the next couple of months. So I'm very, very busy doing courses. But what I've seen from my conversations with companies over the last few months is that there's 2 approaches to using AI. And sadly, the worst approach is the one that I get most commonly from companies. I just don't want any of you to make this mistake. So the first approach is to use AI to replace humans. So how can we take what humans do and get AI to do it? And it means we don't need to employ as many humans. Right. The thing to understand about AI is that AI produces adequacy. It doesn't generally produce absolute excellence. It produces adequacy. The only way to get to excellence at the moment is to have human involvement. So if you are to replace humans, you are actually, I think you're on a losing streak. You're using adequacy and you're going to be on the way down. Or you can use AI to augment humans. Because I'll tell you that a lot of the stuff that I do with AI, it's not any faster, really. In fact, sometimes it takes more time. But I have to wrangle with it. I'm now, it's like working with sometimes quite a difficult colleague. You know, and you're just like, oh, come on, I asked for that. Would you just please give me what I asked for? And you have to try again. You know, there's a lot of backwards and forwards. There's a lot of trial and error to do this stuff. So it doesn't necessarily take less time but I can tell you that AI allows me to do stuff I've never been able to do before. And it takes away some of the drudgery, gives me more time to work on the stuff that's the important stuff, to make sure that ideas are right, that strategy is right, that the output is better. And that's the way to do it. So here's another really hokey graph for you. If you imagine here, you get quality over time. If you don't do anything, you would kind of hope that the quality would remain over time as a constant. Right? If you are wanting to basically replace humans with AI, I believe that this is what happens. The quality of your output goes down. If you're augmenting humans, that's what happens. I think it's really important to have the right attitude to AI, to understand that our job is to use AI to help people achieve more than they've ever been able to achieve before. Because would you rather save money or would you rather earn money? I know what I'd rather do. And I think that anyone that's got any business brain on them would know what the right answer there is. If you don't know what the right answer is, come and see me afterwards. So I want to explain how to do AI the right way. And I went away and rebuilt my presentation yesterday afternoon after watching Jay. Because Jay said some stuff that I was just realizing, actually, I need to build on what Jay said. So one of the important things is to have a clear strategy. And this is what I've been working with some clients on, work with the sort of leaderships of companies, some of them very big companies. And it's understanding what our strategy is for AI. So what are we wanting to get out of it? The first question is, are you wanting to use it to save money, or are you wanting to use it to help you achieve more than you've ever achieved before? And if they give me the wrong answer, I don't want to work with them. I'm not interested. So it's having a clear AI strategy. What do you want to get from this? What are the goals we want to hit? And we look at all of that from a business point of view. If you don't have a clear strategy, it means that you don't know what direction you're going in, and you don't know how to measure your success of getting there. So it's really important that we have these conversations up front. And there's things that within that we need to understand is like the legal use of it. So some of the boring stuff like that. Now, one of the things about how you use it is there's companies have been saying to me, we don't know, is it legal for us to do this? Are we able to do this? What? And the truth is, legally, we don't have legal precedents yet. This is too new. And if you don't have the law to guide you, there's only one thing you've got to guide you, and that's your ethics. And a lot of business people aren't very good at that. So at the moment, we have to have really strong ethical approach how we use this. We're not wanting to screw people over. We are wanting to make sure that we're eliminating or minimizing bias. And I've got to say that bias is one of these things people have been saying a lot about things like ChatGPT. It's got bias built into it. And I will say, yes, it does, because all it's done is it's taken the input of what humans have done up until now, and it's just mirroring how crap we are as human beings. So it mirrors that. Now, there are things that we're putting in there into the systems to try and limit some of that bias, but there is still going to be bias there. But I'll tell you, I have actually used AI to try and limit the level of bias in humans, because it can be really good at that it can actually tell you if there's bias in something that you're doing. So I've been using it in a way that people are usually a bit surprised about. I think an important thing to do is to assign AI champions or AI guardians within your organization. These people are going to make sure that your strategy is going in the right way. They're the ones who are going to create the vision. They're the ones who are going to be evangelists for this within the team. And they're the ones who are going to be the gatekeepers, the guardians, the ones who are going to make sure that the AI is being used in the best way and that everyone has the skills and knowledge to use the AI. So I think you need to assign these people so that within a team, there's going to be one person who is that AI champion. And this is what I'm doing for organizations at the moment. So we get an AI champion, and the main thing that they've got is a prompt library. So there's a prompt library that's prompts that we know will work for certain tasks. So once we've got that, it means that other people have got read-only access to this. So they can't alter those. They can only read the prompts that we've got in the prompt library. So the team are able to access those, but occasionally someone in the team will go, I have an idea. What if we do a prompt for this? And they'll try writing their own prompt. Now, that prompt can't just be automatically added to the prompt library. It needs to go through a system where you're going to test it, you're going to refine it, and once it's ready, you approve it. And once it's approved, you add it into the prompt library. And that is the job of the AI champion within the industry, within that team. So this is one of the things that I'm trying to put in place, this way of doing things for clients. I will wait until you've taken your pictures. OK. So I think you need to decide how to incorporate AI into your work. And I want to share a methodology with you on how to do that.
Yes.
Thank you. That's
My pleasure.
Thank you, Siri. I don't know how to switch this off when I'm presenting. That's something I should really work out how to. Siri, how do I switch you off when I'm presenting? No, it's ignoring me now. That's technology for you. You know, that's the thing. Always remember that technology is the word we use for shit that doesn't work properly yet. It's absolutely true. If you don't think of television as technology anymore, but it's just something we do. You know, it's just something we use. We don't even really think of our phones as technology that much. Technology is the stuff that's on the edge. It's usually in beta, and it's usually a bit glitchy. So this is the way that I approach this. This is a methodology I'm sharing with you. I'm going to be doing a course on this on LinkedIn Learning, but I think this is working for some of my clients. People will very often think that AI just does a task. So what they'll do is they'll say, write me a blog post about cat food. And that's the sort of level of prompt that they put in. Write me a blog post about cat food. And it will, but it won't be great. The best way to use AI is actually to incorporate it into our own tasks, into our own ways of doing things. And when we approach writing a blog post for cat food, we don't think of it as one lump. We think of it as a process. You know, so it's a bunch of discrete tasks. So these discrete tasks add up to doing the blog post. So once you've divided it into discrete tasks, you then have these 3 columns where you've got, do we get AI to do this? Is this something that should be done by humans? And then the middle column, or a row there, you've got, this is a collaboration between AI and humans. So what you do is you take all of these discrete tasks and you move them into a column. To go, right, OK, I think this should be something we do with AI. OK, I think this is something that needs just human intervention. So let me give you an example of this. Creating a YouTube video. That is not one task. It's a bunch of discrete tasks. As you can see here, you've got generate ideas, select the best ideas, outline a script, write the script, film the video, edit the video, add effects, improve audio, create transcript, upload video. You know, it's a whole bunch of discrete tasks there. And you might split this up differently to me. But this is the way that I see it when I'm doing videos. Then I move them into these 3 rows. And I find that generating ideas, actually, that's something that I can do really well collaborating with the AI. But selecting the best ideas, that's my job. I'm the one who's got the gut for that. I think I understand judgment. I understand my audience. Yes, I would do that. Outlining the script, I would probably get the AI to have a go at that. So what are the most important things that I should say in a script based on this concept, based on this approach? And it would come up with a whole bunch of stuff. Then I would use that to help write a script. And I can do that in collaboration with the AI. So the way that I'm doing my LinkedIn Learning videos is that I'm actually generating a bunch of bullet points that I think are the things that I want to talk about in that lesson. Then I put those bullet points into ChatGPT with a prompt that I've written to write me a script that's witty and clear. And it'll write me this script, and that script is 90% there. I then have to just edit that script. Because it's been following my bullet points, but it's just written it in a way and in a style that I'm quite happy with. So I've developed this prompt that works really, really well for me. But that took quite a lot of experimentation to get the right prompt to be able to do that. So I've actually got for you some free prompts. If you're interested, I send out, every single week, I send out an email that gives you a free prompt, and you can give that a go. But I actually, would you be interested in finding out how to write a good prompt for ChatGPT? Anyone be interested in that? Do you want me to share a methodology on that? Yeah? Okay, well, if you give me a second, I wasn't going to, but I just feel that actually, maybe that could be quite good. I will give you, here we go. Right, here's our prompt engineering fast track. So I told you that most people just write like one-sentence briefs. Are any of you doing that? It's just like when you get to ChatGPT, how can I just write a sentence that's just going to get this done? Right? It doesn't work like that. I'm going to explain to you how to write a prompt that will actually deliver what you want. You'll have heard people talking about hallucinations. So hallucinations is the term that basically means that ChatGPT is just making shit up. Yeah? So it will lie to you sometimes very convincingly. And the way that we reduce the chance of it hallucinating, the chance of it just making up lies, is by being very specific in our prompts. It's by writing a really strong prompt and giving the context and information it needs. So let's talk about ChatGPT, how it works. So there's this thing, as I'm saying, most people are doing it wrong. And there's also there's a misunderstanding. People think that it's a bit like Google. Because Google, you type in your search term, bingo, you get a search result. There, I found what I'm looking for. That's it. I've got what I was looking for. It says, type one thing in, bang, get what you're looking for. And people have been talking to me. They misunderstand it and seem to think that ChatGPT is replacing search. It's not. It's totally different. It's a thinking engine, not a search engine. So the mistake is that they think, well, ChatGPT, put in a prompt, boo, fucking genius. You know, it's just, that's it. And they think that that's all you have to do with ChatGPT. And this is what ChatGPT is about, really, because the clue is in the word chat. You know, that you're actually having a conversation with it to try and get to something that's a workable output that you can then add your own human layer on the top of. You see, this is kind of the internet, where you've got quality, there's not much of it. The prevalence of poor quality stuff, yeah, there's lots of that. So you find that 90% of stuff on the internet is absolute crap. But you've then got about 9% of stuff that's all right, and 1% of stuff that's excellent. So we have to understand that that is what ChatGPT is working with. So the PT bit of ChatGPT is pre-trained. It's been pre-trained on a scraping of the internet from December 2021. And that is the main thing that it's working with, is this out-of-date scraping of the internet. Bless you. And we don't want to be bringing in this 90% of crap. We want to be selecting the best stuff. And that's why you need to write a good prompt. And the way that we look at it is actually what happens is, in general, it gives you adequacy. And we need to then, to get to excellence, we need to apply human effort onto the top of that. So it can give us a foot up to reach higher heights. But if we just say that we just want to take the output as it is, you know, this is a hack. If you're trying to approach it that way, it's a hack. It's going to do the work for me so that I don't have to do it. If that's your approach, you're going to end up with adequate nonsense. That's not where you want to be. So let's look at this here. This is kind of like we've got in the bottom, we've got topics. So you've got all these different topics that you get on the internet. And then you've got quality, and there's not much great quality at the top. The quality is mainly low quality at the bottom. So what we want to do with our prompts is, first of all, is we don't want a bad prompt. We'll just embrace everything that is there, everything in that pre-trained model. We want to be narrowing in on the topic, and then we want to be zeroing in on the quality information that is in that pre-trained information. Does that make sense? Yeah? So here is how to write a prompt. And it just so happens that the framework is also the name of this event. That's just total coincidence. So we've got the create framework, and the C stands for press the button harder is what it stands for. C stands for, there we go, character. So we're going to start our prompt by telling ChatGPT the character that we want it to step into. It's going to be playing a role. So we're saying, this is what we want you to think like. So it's like saying that you are an expert SEO specialist. You are a talented and awarded content copywriter. So we're going to tell it exactly the character that we want it to play at the beginning. And I've experimented with this because somebody asked me if that was important. And I did a test to ask for advice on how to choose flowers for your wedding. And first of all, I was a florist, an award-winning florist. Then I did it without any character whatsoever, just asking for advice. And then I compared it to an accountant giving you advice on flowers. You got 3 very, very different approaches. Totally different information from each of those things. So there we go. The character really matters. Then you get your request. What are you asking it to do? Now, you want to be really clear in your request, not be vague. You need to give it context. You need to tell it the information exactly the way if you were briefing an actual human being. You can't expect to get the same quality of output from an AI as you would from a human if you're not briefing the AI to the same level as you would a human. It's really important we have to understand that. You are writing a brief here. And I tested this a couple of months ago when I was creating one of my courses for LinkedIn. I took a brief that I have given for 10 years to humans when I'm running workshops. I run workshops on how to come up with ideas you wouldn't normally have, sort of creative workshops. And this brief is really simple. It's how to get more test drives for a self-driving car. So I chose something that doesn't exist yet, a self-driving car pod, so that people can't then go, oh, yeah, there was that great ad for Mercedes, we could do a version of that. So they don't have reference for it because I'm creating a new product. And that was the reason for creating this brief. Now, I gave ChatGPT exactly the same information as I give humans when I give them this brief, to see what happens when you give the same level of brief. Now, I've got 10 years worth of ideas from people for this brief. I've got hundreds of responses from humans. I know what people tend to come up with. I know the most common ideas that people come up with. Right, ChatGPT came up with a couple of those. I asked it to come up with 5 concepts. It came up with 2 that were exactly what humans tend to come up with. Brilliant. It came up with 3 that I have never seen before in 10 years. Never. And that I was looking at them. I was like, geez, I could work with these. They're actually really good. And at that point, I realized that the problem when people were testing it out is not that AI is worse at coming up with ideas. It's that people are worse at writing briefs. That's what it is. Really true. So the request is really important. You want to tell it everything that's important the way you would tell a human being. Then you've got examples. If you're wanting to say, it's a bit like this, or here's an example of 5 headlines that I really like when you're saying come up with headlines, you give it examples. And it is really good at following that style and trying to replicate something that fits into that model. It's amazing at it. So examples can be really powerful if you've got them. At this point, as you're probably imagining, we're writing a paragraph at this point. You're actually writing a document, it seems. And that's exactly what you're doing. You've then got adjustments, because when you run it the first time, it might come up with some stuff that you don't like, that you weren't expecting. You go, oh, don't do that, dude. And you have to go back into your prompt and say, don't do that, dude. And then we've got type of output. It's actually really flexible in the types of output you can get. So you could say, write me a script, write me a blog. You could say, create a table. That's what I do a lot. Create a table, and then I say the columns in the table, that give me an idea, that tell me the pros and cons in the next column, that gives me the likelihood of that happening, that gives me, you tell what you want in the columns, and it will fill in this table for you. It really is amazing. You can ask it to write code. It puts it all in a code box. There's some stuff that I do that I can get it to write using If I'm wanting to create a mind map, I get it to write a code box using code that I can paste into a website that will then just generate the mind map for me. I just tell it the format for writing this. It's absolutely incredible. And then you've got extras. Now, extras are little things that you can add into your prompt that superpower the prompt. So, for example, your extras, one of them might be if you're not opening a new chat and you're just carrying on with an existing chat, but you don't want that information to color what you're wanting next time round, because you'd ask something different up here. You want ChatGPT to forget the previous information. You just say, ignore everything before this prompt. We're starting afresh. And ChatGPT does. It just ignores everything then. So that is a really important thing, and that just lets you start afresh. There's another thing that totally was an utter game changer for me with prompt writing, was saying, do not give me your answer right away. I want you to ask me questions one at a time until you have all the information you need to give me an informed response. At that point, ChatGPT interviews you if it doesn't have enough information. If you don't say that, that's when it starts hallucinating. It just makes stuff up. So by adding this bit at the end, if you do not have enough information to give me a valuable response, ask me what you need to know before you start. Absolutely amazing. It totally changed things for me. There's little things you can do when you've got a response from it, and you think, that response is all right, but it's not quite what I want. You can then say, I want you to critique your last response, tell me what's wrong with it, and use that to improve your next answer. And you can put that prompt in several times, and the response you get will get better each time. So it's little things like that are really, really powerful. So I collect these little extras that can just supercharge your prompts. So the way that it works, if you're writing it, imagine your character. I want you to request, follow the style of, give it examples. Remember to, then that's the adjustments because, it didn't do what you wanted first time around. Deliver your response as type, and then and extras, whatever you want at the end. So as you can see, that's a longer prompt than most people would write, but I want to show you kind of the way it works. So you get this, write me a blog post about dog food. That's what a lot of people would put in as their standard kind of prompt. This is the kind of prompt I would write. Ignore everything in the chat before this prompt. You're a highly experienced journalist with 20 years' experience writing engaging articles. I want you to write me a 600-word blog post about the importance of feeding your pet the right dog food. Write in the style of the New York Times. Break up the copy with subheads. Avoid filler words and stop words. Write in a style that ChatGPT would not normally deliver. Return your response as an article. See, it's a paragraph. In fact, most of my prompts are like 3 times that length. But that's the kind of thing, if you want to start getting good responses, that is the kind of prompt that you need to put in. So, yes, I sort of, wait until you've taken that. So yep, you've got that there. But also, if you're interested in more stuff on prompt engineering, this is my LinkedIn Learning course that at the moment has got 4.9 out of 5. 3,000 reviews of that. I think it's doing all right. So if you want a bit of that, then go along here.